Hi all, welcome to this Bundesliga TOTS folk. My predictions for obviously. This will be an interesting one for a number of reasons, but we're going to give it a good go nonetheless. Let me know folks in the comments down below who you think will make the Bundesliga TOTS, and we'll just take it from there obviously. But so 5 goalies: Kobel, Trapp, Flecken, Ronau and Casteels. No Sommer is the interesting part of it, but at the same time I can understand why. The two main goalies, in my opinion, I think will probably, I want to say Kobel and Ronau, but Flecken might be thereabouts as well. But I'm going to go Kobel for now, but it's not easy, let's put it that way. Right, defensively, like Frimpong's been very good, Guerrero's been very good, and then it starts to get a little bit tricky. Like personally, I think what they'll go is Guerrero, De Ligt, Frimpong, if it lets me pick them. There we go. And your fourth shout is definitely up for debate. Like Doki's been very consistent, Gunter's been very consistent. It's like the fourth is up for debate, let's put it that way. Davis, I think, will happen only because he's ended up in that many promos that it's almost like a way to push him in. That's my personal opinion. That's what they might end up doing. And like it's hard to try and then justify. But I feel Doki is where I would kind of lean towards if I was honest. I feel Union Berlin deserve a few TOTS. It's just a case of who gets in. Midfield wise is definitely not the easiest still, because when you get through them all, it's quite clustered, because the challenge that, like, you've got to remember as well folks, with the, obviously you've got the 4 here, but from the remaining 6 defenders, I would imagine we'll pick maybe 2, like 2 or 3 might get in for content. The midfield, there's a lot of players they could pick for content. Like personally, I feel Brandt is a strong shout. Kimmich is always there or thereabouts, and Jude is probably the third spot. Now, because obviously it's moved, it then becomes the challenge of like who else gets in from a midfield perspective. And in my opinion, I feel Gnabry will be there or thereabouts. Like Musiala's got a chance, but I would say Griffo, Hoffman, Mueller, and Ritsu Duan are probably the ones that they'll maybe go with as well. Like Mueller just is always just consistent. Like I know this has not been like I think what's not helped Bayern's situation this year is just they've not been as convincing at times, which is a bit disappointing. In the league in Europe they were pretty good until they came unstuck against Man City. In terms of forwards, the main 3 I feel, in my opinion, and what's funny is when you look at the forwards these days, it doesn't look as appealing, and that's half the challenge but half the interest as well, I suppose, because it'll make it intrigue for who actually gets in. Now realistically, I would say Füllkrug, Kolo Muani, Thuram, Becker are like the 4 that will get in. The 5th spot is definitely up for debate. I would say Wirtz is going to be there or thereabouts, but like Füllkrug, Kolo, Thuram, Becker are probably the main 3 in terms of getting in. Like Diaby, like he's only, if he was to get in, it's simply because of his what do you call it, like his road to the final. It's just giving him an even bigger boosted card. It's like, what's the point? But Füllkrug, in fact, I'm going to go Cole in my starting 11. But like as we've said, Füllkrug would definitely get in. I would say, unless if he gets in, it could be as an SPC potentially as well. But in terms of like the remaining like players, I said Flecken and Ronau, one of them might be your second choice goalie. If they do more than one goalie, obviously. Defensively, I would say Davis is going to be there or thereabouts. He even could be an SBC. That would be actually be an interesting card to see how well priced or how badly priced that card is. Weiser certainly could be an SBC as well. Same with Gunter. Schlotterbeck. Be interesting to see what possibility is. Pavard's definitely going to be up there as well, because obviously people in people's eyes they'll be like, oh, he's got a couple informs, he has a moments card, he must be worth getting in. Doesn't always necessarily mean anything, remember, with FIFA, so keep that one in mind. But yeah, Davis, big alpha on, like, we'll see how it goes. As we said, midfield wise, this is obviously the biggest debate of the lot, because there is quite a few, like with Soboslai, the problem is he's got his foot fantasy, so you've got that challenge to kind of deal with. But Kynes has definitely been consistent this season as well, and as I said, Legion Song for Minds has been a big part of their season. But I would say the only one I would probably omit from it really is Endo. Like, Endo's probably the only one I would say I struggle to justify where he would fit in, because everyone in the midfield here deserves in. That's the thing. It doesn't help that EA make it like a 15-man squad, and then they'll pick maybe 2 for objectives, they'll pick a few for SBCs, and then you say to yourself, but that's about it. So you only end up with about 20 to 22 players when you could easily have about 25 to 30. And as we said, for attackers, Fulkrug and Kunku could happen, but like, I can't overly justify it. Mergum Berisha's an interesting shout, and he's supposed a big part of their season. Looking back, he doesn't even deserve in. Like, Hereford Berlin have been awful, so like, I wouldn't justify anyone from Hereford getting in team of the season, sadly. And Wirtz has definitely had a good season as well. But as we said, that's who we're 11 that we're going to go with. And as I say, we've ran through everyone else that could get in, might not, and so forth. But let me know, folks, who you think gets in the Bundesliga team of the season. Let me know what your thoughts are on this 11 and the ones that we've mentioned that could make the squad, SBCs, content, all that kind of good stuff. So have a good one, folks. Take it easy all, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you all later.